There's always going to be things in our life that are changing the balance of what we need to do and how we need to do it. We're always, for our whole lives, going to be coming up against the, how do I get back in balance? I feel so out of balance, and it's different from before. It's for keeping things feeling manageable. How do you do that? How do we do that?
Welcome to the podcast with Kilee Nichols. I'm Kilee, founder and CEO of the life-changing accessories brand Nickel & Suede and the successful style blog One Little Mama. I made the unlikely transition from stay-at-home mom to founder and entrepreneur. It takes a lot of courage to make a change like that, but I love the growth and the confidence that's come from stepping out of my comfort zone. This is the podcast for people who want to be inspired to be brave, to take a chance, and to change their life. I'll be sharing stories and actionable takeaways about working with your spouse, being a working mom, starting and growing a business, confidence, motivation, and more. So get ready to get inspired and to get started with Kilee Nichols.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. You're here with Kilee Nichols, and today we are going to be talking about a big topic. There's so much to go with it. We're talking about balance today, which is probably like one of the most over talked about, or the real answer is there is no balance. But I promise I have some good takeaways. I'm going to kind of take you through my journey of balance and what that looks like for us and our family. And then at the end, I've got a great, I think, takeaway that you can implement today on finding balance in your life. So, I had a question from a follower, and it was about this topic, which is kind of why I got going on this. But it's, how do you find time to balance all the things? You have 5 kids, you have a business, you have, your marriage and all the things. So how do you not go crazy? How do you find that balance? And like I said, I think this is a question that we all wonder and we all think about. And so that's kind of where I wanted to start, is just to find some common ground. Whenever I have a struggle or difficulty, I'm always feel so much better if I know that other people are going through it too. So I first wanted to say this is normal, and I think it's normal for everybody. It's not even just people who have 5 kids and a business and a blog and a this and that, or people who've started a business. Yes, I think that category of people always feel out of balance and stressed and like there's just too much. But I think we all find ourselves in that position. And so it's normal to be asking that question all the time. And I actually think it's really healthy to ask that question, because balance is, if you think of a scale, like it never stays in balance. It doesn't stay completely still. It is totally movable. And so any like wind or any new weight on either side is going to move it. And so there's always going to be things in our life that are changing the balance of what we need to do and how we need to do it. So we're always, for our whole lives, going to be coming up against the, how do I get back in balance? I feel so out of balance, and it's different from before. So I just wanted to say the chaos is normal. And one of the podcasts I like to listen to is from Jody Moore, and she had one about anxiety the other day, and it just made me feel so much better when she said, stress, stretching, mess, that's all part of the human experience. And so everybody is going to constantly be going through that. And it's a good thing. So learning through that stress and that stretch is a good thing. So, for balance, for keeping things feeling manageable, how do you do that? How do we do that? So I think what I'm learning, after, I've been married for 13 years, I've had kids for 10 years. We've had Nickel & Suede, our business, for 5 years. I've had a blog for 7 years. All of these components in my life that I'm trying to balance and juggle have kind of been in my life for a decent chunk of time now. And I'm learning that there are just really different seasons to life, and there's always going to be transitions. And sometimes, some seasons, having systems and order and really defined schedules and calendars works, and in some seasons that doesn't work. So I can't, tell you one of those things is the answer always, but I'm looking back on the last 5 or 7 years of my life and feeling like I'm at a shift point where I need to change. What worked back then isn't working going forward. And so I think recognizing that is really healthy. And that's where that like pain points really start flaring up, that like, this is a lot less balanced feeling. This hurts. Like I got to change something. So when we first had little kids and we first had a business, I really prided myself on learning the skill of being flexible. So being super, super flexible. Babies do not care what time you have something scheduled. And so it was a really big stretch to have that selfishness just like taken out of me and have to just work around this other little creature. So I felt like that is something that I ended up excelling at, where I didn't have a schedule that I had to stick to and I could still be successful. I still got so many things done because I became the master of taking advantage of little chunks of time whenever they showed their face. And it worked really well because I was able to blog in the evenings. I blogged from, 8 o'clock at night to 11 o'clock at night every night so that I got a blog post up the next day so that my blogging stayed consistent and I could grow that area of my life. Or, I figured out how to maintain a clean house by clean-ish, like it's, there's always the struggle's real. But by having like this chunk here and then seeing a chunk here where I can do this and okay, I'll clean the toilet while someone's in the bath. And I just was like, okay, I'm becoming a mom ninja. Like this is what I need to do in order to survive and in order to feel in balance and to have all the things taken care of is I need to play whack-a-mole with my whole life. And I got really good at it. And so I would notice like my husband who went to work every day, Soren, when he was back in accounting, and if I threw him into the situation I was in every day, he didn't have that skill set. And so things just got so out of whack. And so I was just like so proud of I don't have a schedule, I don't have a routine, and I still get tons of stuff done. And so for that season of life, that worked. And I really think sometimes we need to embrace that season. So you might be in that season right now where you're coming, maybe you had a baby because you came back from working a corporate job and you're used to really like schedule and these things. And it hurts really bad to move to like just no schedule. Everything is kind of at a whim and you have to figure out how to pull through that. So that is a tough transition. But it might be what you need in order to feel like things are balanced, where there's just, you do what you got to do when you can do it. So I've had that season, and during that season, that was when our business was growing and my blog was growing and we had some more kids. And eventually that stopped working to where I wasn't able to whack every, I hate the whack-a-mole example, but I wasn't able to whack every mole. Like I just couldn't, there were too many things popping up. And so I guess the next tip or transition for us, which maybe is a place that you're in, would be to get help. So I, like as a point of pride, had a hard time with that at the beginning. My mom didn't have help because of the way that they lived their life. And so it was really hard for me to say, okay, I'm going to get a house cleaner and they're going to help me with my house because I need to focus on other things too. So that was a struggle and probably a pride issue and should I be able to do it all? And so to find some more balance for our family, I had to start bringing in help to take things off my plate. So, and I think it's really good to be open about the help that you have because everybody needs help. And the more that we can talk about the help that we have or need or want, the more normal we can all feel about the crazy life that we live in. So my first help that I hired was house cleaners. And so they started coming twice a month and helping me deep clean my house. And I had that for a couple of years and it really did help. And I was able to fit in other things during that time instead. And it also just kept me more sane. So that kept the balance of my, need for order and cleanliness, but also wanting to spend time with my kids and work on my business. Other help that we started hiring a couple of employees at work. So my small business turned from just me and my husband to we had some help. We had help with shipping orders and things. In the last year, I also hired a housekeeper. The things that were really dragging me down, I needed help with, and that was laundry and dishes and just the general pickup of the craziness every day. And so I have somebody who comes every day and helps me for an hour and a half in the morning and picks up the mess that we all made in the morning getting out of the house. And it makes it so I can come home to feeling like I don't I'm not immediately in like this sinking hole of mess whenever I get home from work. So that has helped add balance. We've also hired babysitters, more employees, and all those things have helped take something off of my plate where I was just too weighed down. And there's been a season that each thing, adding a new piece of help has mattered and made a difference. And I've tried to just get over the fact that I think I need to do it all and realize that balance comes from having other people take things off of your scale, off of your plate. So, there's different seasons of life, and sometimes you need to be flexible. Sometimes you need to be rigid. You need to get help where you can. And then, like I said, I'm in this transitional place right now where my youngest is 18 months, my oldest is 10, and my business is 5 years old. And I'm finding the flexibility, the craziness, the fit things in where they might fit, reinvent the wheel every single day is just not working for us anymore. I am craving schedule and order and systems. I just am realizing we have no good systems anywhere in like my whole life. And the systems would help things. So I don't have a systemized way to get groceries in the house, even though the technology exists to have groceries delivered to my door, to have a routine order go in every Sunday night. And yet I've been resistant to this structure and order that I do think is going to be what helps the next phase in my life. So I'm trying to get on board, and it's hard to come back from chaos and to get into discipline and rigidity again. But I know that that's going to be what we need. So like I said, I'm trying to create some systems for meal planning, for ordering groceries for our family. We're creating systems at work where there's lines of communication and places where people know that they can be heard, places where we can do something about that, connections between different departments. And it's all really hard because I just am used to being like, want to have a meeting? Let's have one right now. Need a meeting tomorrow? Okay, well, when I'm there and no one's talking to me, then we can have that meeting. So I am struggling coming back from that like super flexible life, but I do think having systems and order is the phase that we're at. So you might be at that phase too, where the way you need to find balance is in routine and order. And, everybody's personality is different. So maybe that has always been what you've needed, but finding more of that for us is where we're at. So one way that I've seen this evident is that I'm training for a half marathon right now, and I have not exercised consistently since, maybe my third was a baby. I did go to the gym for like a stint, but I just have not exercised consistently because of that whole flexible lifestyle of there's no consistent wake up time. There's no consistent way to just stay on that routine. So my friend challenged me to do a half marathon with her in October, and I said yes because I know I need some of that structure in my life. And I am amazed at how much I forgot how goals are so helpful in making progress. So we're following this running plan, and I am not running as far as I need to right now in order to like meet this plan, but it has gotten me consistent. And that consistency has shown me that I'm stronger than I was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it feels really good to have those markers of improvement. So I'm finding some balance in my personal life by having that consistent exercise and that consistent, I'm proud of myself, I did that. And next on the list, I think, is going to be forcing myself to really wake up at the same time every day. And I realize there may be a perception that because I have a business that is has had some success, that maybe I have all these things figured out. And maybe that's why this gal asked me, like, I'm surely they have the same wake up time every day, the same bedtime every day, the same, like, because that really is the way to be successful. But we haven't figured that out yet. There is still a lot of mess that we're trying to put order to. And then as seasons change, like I just signed up all 4 of my kids for soccer. That's going to create a new schedule, right? And a new thing in the mix. So I think that's the thing we need to understand, is that balance can't stay in balance unless things change, because we always have different elements coming into our life, and we have to change with that and realize that balance does not happen and stay done. So the thing that I liked about being asked this question is it really got me thinking about it, and it got me sharing about this and how we struggle with this, but also how we are tackling it and going after it, and kind of my perspective on it. And so I think it was so smart that this gal reached out to me, because maybe she sees me, like I said, as somebody who has it figured out, who stays in balance, who doesn't feel crazy all the time, who's not, just totally out of whack. But hopefully by me sharing this, it shows that I am struggling. So there is that connection there of that common, we're all in this together. And so what I would challenge you to do is, if you're trying to find balance and figure out what balance looks like for your family, for you, for your work life, is to reach out to somebody around you and ask them what works for them or what's not working for them. If you do that, I feel like you will either come away with great nuggets of, I could do that too. I love when I go visit, we go stay with friends, because I pay attention to like how my friends run their households, and it gives me good ideas about how to do mine better. So we visited a friend once, and I saw like, okay, she washes all of her dishes this way and she puts them here to dry. I've never thought of doing that before. And so, I now want to incorporate that into how I do my house. Anyways, my point being, I think there's a lot of value to be gained from each other. And that might mean that you find out your other friend or, someone you look to on social media, is it just as much of a mess as you are. So then you're like, okay, it's always just going to be messy. And then you might also find out that they have a good idea that they started implementing recently, and that could help you too. I think that is my number one tip for finding balance, is to reach out to people around you and see how they're finding balance. Either you're just going to feel better about your mess, or you're going to find some good nuggets from people that you care about or people that you admire to help start adding some balance and some more stability or routine or whatever it is to your life. So I think opening that place to share, having that dialogue, helping you feel less crazy about your life, because you see that we all have things that we're always trying to get together, is just a great way to build community and to understand each other a little bit more and to feel less alone. So those are my takeaways. That's my place for where I'm trying to find balance right now. Thanks for listening today. I hope that my thoughts were helpful and got you thinking. And I hope that you thought of somebody that you can go talk to and ask about their journey in balance and figuring out how they deal with their busyness. So if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment. Let us know your best tip for finding balance, your best idea for how do you manage these different changes in your life. And then if you're following, on anywhere you listen to your podcasts, make sure you like and subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. Feel free to comment on social media and share this podcast if you think it'll be helpful. So thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening today to With Kilee Nichols. Stay tuned next week for another episode. And if you can't wait until then, you can find me at onelittlemama.com, MOMMA, for beauty, our family, style tips, and more. And you can find my business at nicholandswade.com with the and spelled out. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.